Yeah. So I'm reading your friend, the late great Lamin Osane's book about the clerical people of the Senegambia, history of an Islamic clerical people. And he talks about how a gentleman had a vision. This was like around the 12th century or 13th century. He had a vision that he got a vision from, I think, Abraham, Jacob, or and from Prophet Muhammad, I think. And he got a vision that he should call himself the Banu Israel, and that's how the group was formed.
Mhm.
It seems like a lot of people in Africa have either invented an identity or wants to claim that they are Jews. What are your views on this, overall African people?
Well, I don't think that there are many people in Africa who do that. Certainly, there are some Jewish communities across Africa. I talk about the Lemba of Zimbabwe and South Africa, the Baluba of Congo, the Igbo and others, the Beta Israel. You do have those communities that, uh, to some extent, um, put out this narrative of connection with Jews. I don't know to what extent it's a political project, or or is it just memory, or
Right.
is it just a past they believe in? And you can say the same thing about Islam. For example, if you look at the history of Sunjata Keita, I'm sure you are familiar with the story of Sunjata
Yes.
Keita and the Mali kingdom. I was teaching actually the book today in my class, and it started by saying that we descended from Bilali, and Bilali is Bilal,
Hmm.
the Abyssinian, black Abyssinian, who was the companion of the Prophet Muhammad, who was the caller for prayer. Uh, you have a whole story told by Griot that connect Sundiata in the 13th century with Bilali in the 7th century. I mean, as a historian, it's very convenient for a Malian king who is projecting his power over a Muslim population to find some connection with early Islam, and
Hmm.
to draw authority and power and credibility from the very early source of Islam, arguing that nobody is more Muslim than I am because my ancestor was there, but at the very beginning. It makes sense
Exactly.
politically speaking. You see what I'm saying? So maybe similar stories happening also about the Jews, but also look, Jews have been around in Africa for a long time. Okay, you have the idea of the lost tribe, and then you have the bogus history of Ham and the Hamitic people of Africa. But you do understand that Hebrew language is an Afro-Asiatic language. It's an Afro-Asiatic language.
Hmm.
Hebrew language is rooted in the same language as Amharic that is spoken in Ethiopia today,
Right.
as Arabic, which is a Semitic language, as Tamazic or Berber, which is a Semitic language, as Tuareg languages, Tamazic, but also as some languages, even Hausa language in northern Nigeria and in Sudan and in Niger, that are also African languages. So there is entanglement between the Semitic language and African languages. These are Afro-Asiatic languages. And,
Hmm.
and some linguists actually argue that Hebrew was not born in Israel, but in Africa, and crossed the Red Sea to the Middle East. That the root of this language is really in Northeast Africa. So you have these long connections, and you do have also early Jew involved in the trans-Saharan trade. We have
Right.
evidence of Jewish tribe actually being involved in that trade, and we have some practices actually in Africa that are very much related to Jewish practices. So you do have a long history there from which people can draw narrative for whatever purpose they have to legitimate whatever it is that they want to legitimate.